Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay, good. Um, we're going to go ahead and get going. And then as people join, they can catch up with us because I know everyone's time is precious. And some people are not are on without video and they're muted because they didn't really want to be seen. So if you don't want me to show you, I can turn you off if you want. That's up to you.
I'm not muted, right?
No, no one's muted right now, and you don't need to be. Okay. All right. Well, we're getting started. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about how to start a business after 50 in 4 easy steps. Obviously, there's more involved in starting a business than these 4 things, but having had 30 years experience as an entrepreneur, I find that if you master these 4 things, everything else will just sort of fall into place because generally they bring everything else within the business that you need to do. So we're going to talk about those 4 things and give you some preliminary information you'll need to, if you're starting a business, to get it started, or if you have a business already and you're just trying to grow it and make it a better business. These will help you either way. So we will go ahead and talk about those tonight. Let's see if I can. Okay, so it's good to have you on the webinar, and I want you to, if you are able to, just sort of concentrate on what we're doing. Take notes if you'd like, because there's going to be a lot of information here, and hopefully that after it, you'll have some things that you can go back on. I am going to record this session, so you will be able to get the replay if you have missed some notes. And also for attending the webinar, you will receive a free gift, a business plan, and that will come to you at the end of the webinar. I'm going to turn off some videos because I want to not have those on the screen if we can. Let's see. Okay, that'll be good so that the recording will be clear, but you're still there, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you have had a business idea for years and haven't been able to get it off the ground, or if you're ready to take that step and totally reinvent your life by becoming your own CEO, you're in the right place tonight. So we're going to talk about, like I said, those 4 things. The majority of businesses started in today's economy are started by people aged 55 to 64. And that was an interesting statistic for me. And when I researched it a little more, it made sense. Our generation is a very unique generation, that boomer generation. If you look at our mothers and their mothers, when they got to our age and beyond, they were content with being done with raising kids, and if they were working, they were done with that, and they were very satisfied with sitting on garden clubs and having tea with their friends or coffee, and really basically having the freedom of just living out their life. There was no intention of doing anything else unless it had to be done because of circumstances. But if all circumstances were good, they were pretty much satisfied with getting to this point and not being bothered. Our generation came up and we have decided that we want to live our greatness all the way through. And especially at this age, we're at the point to where if we've had children, they're raised. If we've had a career, we're at the end of that career and we can concentrate on something else. And so we have that freedom of mind to actually do the things that it takes. And that's why many people in this age group are starting their business. They're not done. They're ready to continue to have the freedom that comes with business ownership and the extra income that comes with it. There are 5 benefits that I found that owning a business after 50 can afford you. And you may want to write these down. One of them is freedom. It's not just financial freedom, but it's time freedom, freedom to explore things that you've never explored before. There's a lot of freedoms that are involved, and being your own CEO gives you that freedom. I know for me, this started in my 30s. I decided that I wanted to be free of an employer, and I have not had a job since I was 32 years old, and I'm 62 now. And I made that decision that I was going to always have my own business. And I've had a lot of freedom over time. Not saying that freedom comes without obstacles, without things going wrong and all that, but overall, it's very freeing to be your own boss, to not have someone tell you how you're going to spend your day. Secondly, there are no more pink slips. No one can come in and downsize you or lay you off. My sister, who is 64, was laid off at the beginning of 2017 after her 30-year career at one employer. And they did it right before she was able to really get her full retirement. And that is happening to a lot of people that I know in their 50-something. And so when you have your own business, you don't have to be concerned with someone walking in and telling you that, okay, you have to go. And you are prepared to be able to take care of yourself financially, and not be relegated to unemployment offices. You get to choose who you work with. That's a great thing. You choose the vendors that you work with. You choose the clients that you work with. No one is telling you that you have to talk to this person. You can be very service-minded and be a servant leader in your own business and not do things just because the boss said do them. So you can choose who you want to work with. Also, if you are still working and you have your own business on the side, there's multiple sources of income. But even in business, you can have multiple businesses. I know people who have a network marketing business and they have a coaching business, or they have a travel business and they have a business that consults. So there's multiple sources of income. And then the last benefit is that there are no limitations on your finances. You can choose to make as much as you want or as less as you want. That's up to you. No one is limiting your income. So those are our 5 benefits of owning a business, and those sound pretty great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know I love being able to have these 5 benefits within my own life right now. And I get to choose for myself what it is that I get to do every day. Now I can make some bad choices and decide not to really work my business, not to really grow it, and then I suffer because of that. I'm not suffering because of someone else. So these benefits are something to think about.
Oh, sorry. You know what? I got on the Zoom, and now do I hang up my phone?
Yeah, you can hang up your phone.
Okay.
Because you're getting that feedback.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
That's all right. Okay. Yeah, that feedback can be bad when you put those two electronics together.
Right. This is my first Zoom, so I'm learning something already. That's
Well,
awesome.
it's a great platform. I like to use
Yes.
it. And
Yes.
if you're starting a business where you're going to be communicating with your clients or your customers, it's a great resource to have.
Thank you. Okay,
so we're gonna I'll tell you a little bit about me for those of you who don't know. I believe that you've seen me online because you signed up for this. You may even think you're a part of my women's network group online. But I founded 50-something Lifestyle a few years ago as a blog. I was blogging because I was depressed. And I was depressed because I had had a significant business failure. And I didn't really know how to deal with it because I was in my mid-50s. And I was devastated, not just financially, but I was devastated from a personal point of view. I felt like a failure. And I was approached by Womanpreneur 2015 to be a keynote speaker. And I have no idea why they chose me, but they did. And my topic was to talk about coming out of business failure. And I titled my keynote as Failing Forward, because the one thing I did learn through the blogging process, that failure was one single incident. It wasn't who I was, it was one thing that happened. And that in order for me to move forward, I had to know that I had to take action and had to get over the fear in order to get past failure. And I talked about that, and I talked about it from the point of view of being over 50, because that was my experience. And out of that, the women who talked to me after and the response I got, and the response that I had been getting from a lot of women during that time made me know that I was on the right track. And I became very passionate about helping women over 50 in terms of their finances, in terms of their personal growth, in terms of their lifestyle, and also their spiritual growth. I believe that if you don't have the spiritual part, if you don't have the faith part, then all of it is just for no reason. So those of you, I don't make assumptions that people are Christian, but I am, and I'm proud to say that I am, and I run my business from that point of view, but I don't downplay anyone else's. So anyway, that's me. And I am here tonight because I have successfully run multiple businesses over 30 years, and I've made millions of dollars as a business person from my home. I've never had a business site. And out of that, I began to be a coach, a speaker, and an author. I'm working on my second book. I have several clients that I work with, and I'm very proud of that because I'm able to help women recover from that feeling of being 50-something and feeling insignificant and feeling as if there was nothing left. And one of my clients said to me just the other day, she said, her name is Frida, she said, if you do for other women what you've done for me, you're going to be a millionaire. And that's nice to know, although that is not my goal in life to be a millionaire. For those who are, that's great. I just want to help people and help women over 50. And however that blesses me financially, I'll take it. So tonight these are our topics. And if you have a question, feel free to just chime in as we go through this. It's not going to be a very long presentation because we're all at that dinner time, and I want to get you off to doing feeding your families or yourself. The topics we're going to talk about are my top 3 most effective businesses that you should start after 50. This is based on my own experience, and it's also based on the experience of women I know and research that I've done of businesses started by women over 50. We're going to talk a little bit of how to identify your target market. There is no business if you don't have know who you are marketing to. Thirdly, you're going to position yourself as an expert. People buy and they listen to experts. And many of us are expert. We just don't know how to position ourselves as that. And we'll talk about that a little bit. And then lastly, this is, I think, the most important two things we'll talk about are those 2 marketing strategies that you need to master before you launch a business. If you master these 2 things, you will have a successful launch and you will find yourself making money a lot faster than other people who don't consider these things when they are starting a business. We get caught up in the details of where's my office going to be, what kind of phone I'm going to have, what kind of computer I'm going to have, is my you know, what kind of business structure and all that. And those are all important things. But your marketing strategies are what takes that business out to the marketplace. So we'll start with, and if I'm going too fast, you can say, slow down. So the top 3 most cost-effective businesses that you want to start after 50 are listed here. And they are consulting, coaching, and network marketing. And we're going to go through each of these, and I'll have some examples for you. Consulting, a lot of people believe that they can just decide, I just want to be a consultant, but they really haven't thought through the process of what a consultant really is. A person who consults is someone who takes knowledge and experience that they have in a specific area, and they promote that experience mostly in the form of a service to another business. You consult to a business or to a nonprofit. So it's not going to a client or customer base. Your consulting is going to a corporation or a nonprofit. So consulting is taking your experience that you've had. Many of us come from a career. And some of the things, and it doesn't really matter what that career was. There are some things that you learned in that career that other people may not know, or that another business may need, but they are not able to afford to hire a full-time person to come in and provide that service. Good example, I graduated with a degree in journalism and communication and immediately went to work as a writer after college in corporate America in a marketing department where I wrote marketing brochures, advertisements, direct mail pieces, those kinds of things. I used my skill to help promote that. That was a securities business, to help promote their products. I worked in there for a few years, and then I went into advertising for Broadway Southwest, which is now Macy's. And I worked in their advertising and wrote advertising copy for the fashion industry, for their fashion departments. And then from there, an opportunity came for me to start writing in the technical world. Prior to my advertising experience, all computers were mainframe. They were only in a business. Very few people had a computer in their home. And the desktop computer had just come out, but there was no one to write how to use it, instructional manuals. And because I had a degree in writing and had writing experience, I went into the technical world and started writing instructional manuals for computer companies, software development. And within that, I found myself getting laid off from a job where I was in upper management as managing a team of writers and graphic artists and all the people who put together the instructional manuals. And that's when I decided no more pink slips. So what did I do? I took that writing experience, that skill of writing, and I sold it to other software development companies. And that began a 15-year career as a writing consultant. I made more money doing that than I would have on the job. And all I did was use the skill that I had learned. So if you're looking to get a business, that there is no risk in a consulting business. The only cost is going to be your business card and the cost of having internet and phone. You don't need an office. You can consult from your home. Most businesses want you to come into their corporations and consult from within. So if there's a skill that you have that you work 20, 30, 40 years, and you still have that skill, you can turn that into a consulting business and be very successful. The second is a coaching business, which is what I do now. Like I said, it started as a blog, started as me speaking, and as I started talking to women and helping them and realizing that my experience, I was able to share that with them and help them through their own experience. And then after taking classes and just getting myself prepared, I became a coach. Again, very little expense involved in starting your own coaching business. You just have to be good at promoting yourself. And we'll talk about being an expert later, because that will come very handy as a consultant or a coach. This third one is one that most people shy away from these days because it has such a negative connotation within our marketplace, and that's network marketing. However, network marketing is probably the lowest risk business that you can do. And if you approach it from the standpoint of the way it was intended, then you can be very successful. One of my mentors, major mentors in my life over the years, was a multimillionaire in network marketing. She taught me how to teach other people to do it. Network marketing, and a lot of people think it's about joining up for Mary Kay and selling some makeup. But it really is about building leaders. To successfully run a network marketing team, you have to approach it as a business and not as a salesperson. And if you do that, and if you find someone who can teach you how to do it, the cost, right now the government has outlawed any cost to get involved. The only thing you pay for is the price of your products. So network marketing is low risk, low cost, no risk to capital, but you can have a major financial boost if you master network marketing. So any questions on the 3 top effective businesses to start?
No.
No. Is anyone on the line in any of these businesses? Okay. As you're thinking about how to start, think of these 3. And I'll tell you what we do. We go out and we get emotional and we want to open our restaurants and we want to open this and that. And to be honest, you should follow your passion. Definitely do that. But know that you are, you want to look at the financial risks, especially in our age category. We want to be careful of our retirement dollars and our investments that we've had over the years. So just look at the risk involved. And if you don't really have an idea and you're just looking, consider these 3 things, one of these 3 things. And if you'd like to talk to me some more about it, we can do that after, you can set a free consultation to talk to me. We can talk about it. So then the second thing of our 4 is identify your market. Everyone is not your target market. You cannot afford to market to everyone. People who start a business and just think I have a great product, everyone will love it, generally fail very quickly because each market is specific. You want to target down or niche down to a market who really needs your product. You solve a problem, they have that problem, they can find a solution within your product or service. Many people define their target market as, here's some examples, homeowners, business coaches, stay-at-home moms, anyone who could really use our product, especially if it's like a health product or skincare or something like that. They just sort of think the whole world is my market. And the problem when you approach your target market like that is that you're not providing that unique positioning of your product or service so that you can get down to the people who will really open their wallets and buy. Good example is, let's say someone wants to, let's just use an example of interior design. I had an interior design business, and you would think that homeowners would be my niche market because people who have homes will want them decorated, and I went in and did that. And so the thought process would be that they would hire me. But in reality, when I sat down to really get to the point where I was making money in that business, I had to come to the realization and research and find out that mostly people who use interior designers were people who owned houses that were generally $300,000 and up, mostly $500,000 and up. And they made a significant income because they had the extra income to put into someone coming in and fully designing their home. So someone who goes into the interior design business and says, oh, I'm just going to go to homeowners, will find that they are not successful because they haven't niched the market. So when you're looking at your target market, make sure that you are being very specific about who can use your product and how it solves their problem. Another good example, stay-at-home moms. Stay-at-home moms who do what? Stay-at-home moms could be just really satisfied with watching The View and whatever else comes on during daytime, and caring for their children and not caring about having a home-based business. So you niche it down to stay-at-home moms who want to earn extra money. Then you further niche it, stay-at-home moms who want to start a virtual assistant business because that happens to be your particular expertise. So do you understand how you want to niche it down? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So here are the two things that will help you to get identity of who you're going to serve. One of them is, if you already have a business, is to research who's buying your product or service. Because if you've had the fortune of selling your product to someone already, then look at who that is. It's not an accident that they bought. So make sure that you niche down to why they bought, what they bought, what problem it solved for them, and make sure that as you continue to market to that, to people like them, that you drill your marketing down to them. The second thing is, if you don't have a business, if you're brand new, is you want to analyze the products and services that you want to provide and analyze the people who are already providing them. There is nothing wrong with starting a business in an area where there are other people doing it. If there are a lot of people doing it, it's mostly because it's a successful market. But you have to find a way to make yourself stand out within that crowd. So first you look at who has that product or service that you want to provide, and then look at how they're getting it out there. They're doing it via social media and they're posting 20 times a day, then you may want to say, okay, I'm going to go through social media, but I'm going to post less, but I'm going to do more effective posts. And I'm going to post in areas. If you're going to boost your post or do ads, you're going to narrow your demographics down. And the good thing about Facebook marketing is that you can narrow it to a very distinct market. All of my Facebook marketing is narrowed to women over 50. That's the top of the niche. And then I narrow it down who are business women, depending on what I'm launching at the time. So you can be specific and drill down. So if you're looking to start a business after you've figured out the kind of business that you're going to start, then you want to make sure that you identify who can use the product or service that you have and drill it down to that. And this takes time. That's why when you start a business, you want to do a lot of the work up front so that by the time you open your doors, you are significantly reaching the people who need it. So do your analysis. And then once you've looked at all of those factors, then you can say, we'll get down to those 2 strategies that will help you get to that market. And we'll talk about those later in the presentation. Okay, any questions?
Nope.
Okay. Here's a good example just before we move on. I have a client who I'm helping build a business, and she's had this idea for years, and she's excited that it's finally getting off of the ground. And it's an online business, so her costs are just the product itself. And when she first came to me, she was set on getting this product out to men, period, just men. And I kept telling her, that's too broad. What kind of men? You know, we can, tall men, short men, black men, white men, overweight men, skinny men. What is this? And by the time we got to the true person that her product would fit, we realized that she was marketing to men who are in sports. And now she is so excited because her product took on a different look, because she knew now she's marketing to basketball players, football players, soccer, any man who likes sports. And then she will expand that to women in sports when she gets this part done. So you see how she was able to take that big, broad target of men and narrow it to men who are into sports. So think about that when you're thinking of your market. Thirdly, you want to be an expert. Everybody has something that they're expert at. If they tell you they don't, all you have to do is keep talking. It may not be what they do as a career, but they have something. They're maybe an expert cook or seamstress, or they love music, gardening. They're an expert accountant. They're an expert typist or artist. And then it goes on and on. Writer. So being an expert is something that you have to figure out for you, because it's going to be different for everyone. Our expertise comes when we do an inventory of what we have done and what we like. So think about the things you like to do and that you're good at, and the things that you have done in terms of your career, and look at them and say, okay, I think I would love to do this. Just think it. Let's say you're an expert with hair. You like to do hair. You've always done everybody's hair in the community. Although you did not necessarily get a cosmetology license, but you are good at hair. You like hair. And you're thinking, what can I do with that? Well, my daughter niched her own business where she does a hair extension business. And she teaches women who have this love for hair to start their own hair business. And so when they are able to do that, she has all that they need to do to get it started, but it started from their love and their experience with hair. And they took the time to take the classes that she offers to learn more about hair. And now they are hair experts. She calls them hairpreneurs. So be an expert. And so these are your 4 things that you can do to position yourself as an expert. You can be expert at all these things, but if you don't position yourself to where other people see you as an expert, it doesn't do you any good. So let's talk about that. Rely on your experience. Again, make an inventory of what you can do and what you love to do. And then make an inventory, a list of things that if you could have any kind of business in the world, it would be this or that. And you'll find that you'll be able to cross-reference your experience to that business. And you'll find a way to make it work. Again, you have someone who's worked in corporate America and in management, leadership. There's really good skills at leading people. And when they decided on a business, they decided on a network marketing business because it is all about leadership. So rely on your experience. Get more knowledge. If you don't feel like you're the expert, that you don't have enough knowledge, there are so many ways to gain knowledge these days online, community colleges, special workshops, anything that certifications. And don't look and look at other people and say, oh, I just wish I was like her. Get your own knowledge. Get more knowledge. Instant experts write a book. For some reason, writing a book makes you an expert, or writing a blog, especially if you've put information in it that people can use. But it's automatic expert. And then the 4th thing that makes you an automatic expert is to become a speaker. When people speak about something they're knowledgeable about, people see them as the expert, the person that knows, the go-to person. So in your business, position yourself as an expert, and you can do that instantly by in your posts, if you're on Facebook or if you're on LinkedIn or whatever, Instagram, write a blog and have people go to that blog. I do a lot of blogging. I just wrote a blog. It's called Don't Die in the Well. And if you'd like to read that, you can just go to my website, 50-something Lifestyle, and go to the blogs and read it. It's very useful if you're looking to see how to overcome some of the things that keep us from really reaching our greatness. Don't die in the well. And then, so those are the 4 things that are going to help you become that expert. And then our final concept, that final step, are those 2 top marketing strategies that will get you to that getting that business started. If you look at this graphic here, these are generally all the things that people do when they're getting started in a business. And that's a lot of stuff. And you'll end up doing all this, but there are a couple on here that are the most important. And we will talk about those in a minute. But if you look at how it has evolved, you look at direct mail, that used to be the communication of most businesses, direct mail. So how a lot of people got their information out in the terms of a brochure or a postcard that came in the mail, and they went directly to their market with what they were selling, product or service. And now the internet has opened up a whole other world of ways to get to people. But there are two strategies that you want to consider as you move on to your starting your business. There is one thing I want to say here before we move on. Let's see, I'm going to check something here. So your launch has to go far beyond the stuff that's listed here when you launch a business. Even though you're going to do all of these things, there's two elements that are going to determine how well these things come out. You can spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a website and have someone develop it. It has nice little buttons on it and cute little pictures, really good pictures. But if it's saying nothing, it's just a website. So these are those two strategies that will help you to make sure that out of the gate, you have a chance of succeeding. One of them is branding. Your logo, your website, your graphics, your typography, your look and feel. How do you present yourself to the market? My logo was here. And there was a very deliberate development of this logo. When obviously I wanted the 50 to stand out because I wanted people who could identify with being 50 and then something to be able to look at it and say, this must have something to do with me. Also, I wanted to be very feminine because this is not marketing to men. I market only to women. So I wanted the type and I wanted the colors and the feel to be very feminine. And I wanted lifestyle to stand out on its own because this is what all this is about. Everything that you do in your 50s is to make sure that you have an advanced lifestyle as you go to the second half of your life. And the little swirly is moving forward. So there was a deliberate design to this logo. So branding is important when you start your business. Even if you're in a company that has its own logo, make your own. Set yourself apart. When I was a part of network marketing, I was in a health and wellness company called Zango. It's no longer in business, but I was not Zango. My business was Top Leaders because that's what I was marketing to. And I had my own logo for that. And my husband and I, we had our own website, even though there was a company website. So branding, set yourself apart through your branding. But there's a second part to this, that if you don't have the second part, your logo, your website, all this stuff won't mean anything to the market because it all falls on this one thing, content. If you have bad content, no one's going to buy from you because you haven't made clear what it is that you do, how you solve their problem, how they can benefit from your problem, what it costs to be a part of your business, and what you walk away with. And so your content is going to come through. These are just 5 of the ways it comes through. But there's other things like the direct mail and brochures and all that. But these are the most popular right now ways to get your content out. Lead magnets. Those are those opt-in pages. When you signed up to take this webinar, you came through a lead magnet. If in most, right now, most advertising and most marketing is done online through Facebook or Instagram or whatever. So lead magnets. And what goes on that page is going to draw a person to sign up. The second thing is your videos and your webinars. The content has to be worthwhile. People have to feel that they got something and they can take away something. Your blogs have to tell a story. If you have a newsletter, it has to give them information that they wouldn't get otherwise. And then social media posts have to be relevant. You have to have a posting schedule so that people know where and when things are happening. And the way Facebook works, you can't post once and expect people to see it. You have to post several times so that eventually it'll come up in their feed. But what you post, the content of these things, is important. I worked with a client that was a really, really bad writer. She had a lot of good ideas and things she had, she was very unique in the way she wanted to present them, but she could not write. And that in itself will turn off people from looking at what you have. So she knew she had to hire a copywriter to write her posts and her website and all the things that she was doing, her scripts, her books, and she paid for that. It was her knowledge. She just needed someone to help her. So don't be afraid and shy away from people who can help you with content. So those are things that you will want to do when you do your content. You want to make it relevant. You want to make it benefit oriented. You want to be clear on times and places. And you want to be clear on what they'll get out of it. Like, you will learn, you will get. If my product is a skincare product, your skin will do this. So make sure your content is relevant. You're going to brand. You're going to look good out there. You're going to have relevant looking logos and websites, but the content that goes in them has to be there. And those are those 2 marketing strategies. You get that down by the time you launch. Let's say you're going to launch your business on Facebook, and you're going to launch it by starting a series of posts. Make sure that all that stuff is in place, because as soon as someone clicks onto it and goes somewhere, you want to make sure that they're getting something from it. So those are your 4 steps to really, and I know they probably may be a little different because people talk about, business plans and all that, and you will get a business plan template. But if you have these 4 things done as you do all the other things that go around starting a business, you will be successful. These are 4 business ladies I want to introduce you to. Carolyn Johnson is a network marketer, multi-million-dollar earner. She knows how to build leaders. She knows how to build businesses. And that was her approach to network marketing. She now is in new skin, and she's been successful in several network marketing business. And it's not a fluke, because everywhere she goes, she's successful, because she knows how to build those leaders, how to build a team. Pat Gillum, some of you may know her. She started the Sisterhood, and she is a coach. She is a networker. She can teach you how to network. She can teach you how to get your mindset right to live an abundant life. The next person is Tamara Garrison Thomas, my daughter, who's the hairpreneur, very successful, one of the top experts in hair extension business. And then Kathy Gibson, she is a consultant, someone who teaches people how to live a highly spiritual life. So these ladies have done it. They're successful at it. Most of them in the millionaire plus category. But you can do this as it fits your life. So in summary, before you start your business, consider these things. Your top 3 businesses to start. You want to identify your market. You want to be an expert. And then you want to master branding and content. And then when you throw all the things in it, your corporate state, if you're going to be an LLC, or if you're going to be a sole proprietor, if you're going to, your bank account, where you're going to work, your business card, your phone number, and your email, all that stuff that comes with setting up, those things will happen. But these 4 things will make you successful. Any questions? This is a good time to answer questions. Okay, we're gonna close out. Just quick survey. You have a question?
Yes, for me, I'm sorry, this is Cheryl. For me, when I started pulling things together and trying to figure out which direction I was going to go in, I always had a passion and a thought process about what I wanted to do. But when it came down to the actual business part of it, in other words, if you needed a license for certain things, if you needed to register certain places, I really was stuck right there for a while. Do you know where you could find maybe a checklist that tells you, or places you could go to tell you what direction you would need to go in if you need to be a consultant? If you need certain things, would you suggest that people get an LLC no matter what up front? Because as your business evolves, there's other components that would become a part of that. Could I ask that question?
Well, I can tell you that when you receive the business plan template, there's also a checklist that goes with it that will answer some of those questions.
Okay.
But like for a business structure, if you are like when I had my interior design business, because there was some liability to me.
Okay.
I had an LLC because an LLC protects you from someone suing you directly.
Okay.
That's what an LLC does. Most businesses don't really need an LLC, especially if it's something that you're doing like a consulting. You're not going to hurt anybody in consulting, so, but an LLC, that just to break it down, it protects people from suing you directly. So if you have a fear that that's going to happen to you, then definitely set up an LLC. There's nothing wrong with doing it. There's no good or bad in doing it. Sole proprietor means that you're going to do business under your own Social Security or EIN. But in terms of your taxes, you're still going to be, if it's a home-based business, you're going to be able to get all the tax benefits of a business. Just because you work in your home does not preclude you from doing that. So when I consulted, I was a sole proprietor. I did not need to be an LLC. Okay.
Thank you.
So when you're in, and definitely very few people who work in their home need to be a corporation. You don't want to do that. So an LLC won't hurt you. And then when it comes to things like trademarks and copyrights, you want to copyright your materials that are written, your books. If you're a graphic, you're an artist, you want to copyright all that. And trademarking is for products, unique products that you created, or unique positions. Like my daughter's business is Main Elements. She wanted to trademark that name, not just copyright it, so that no one else could use it. And they can't use her likeness at all. So those things are things that you'll want to master in terms of business structure. I do a more extensive business mastermind that I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, and that's something you may consider doing.
Thank you.
So I don't know how many of you are ready to own your own business or already have it going, and how many of you know in your heart that if you were able to start a business or grow your current business, you could live a reinvented life. And then how many of you could benefit from being around other women who are on the same journey and working with someone who can help you get over the hump. So that is what I do. I work with clients to help them create their business and get through all those obstacles so that by the time they're ready to launch their business, they are in a position of going from that zero to profitability. So I do a mastermind. Right now, one of my masterminds is going. It started February 13th. and it is going to go for 3 months. It's a 3-month mastermind. I have another one starting April 2nd, and I only take 5 women, because you in a setting like that, more than 5, you're not really doing any good. You're not helping people. So I set it up so where I can help people. And I offer it with these things. These are the things that come with it. No more than 5 participants, so it's an exclusive group. There's 2 one-on-one coaching sessions. And I always add, plus the ability to get with me on email and phone when they need. You get all your business resources, not just a business plan template, but we actually go through and create a business plan with you. You get to connect with other 4 women who are on the same journey. There's weekly calls or weekly sessions and accountability. And that's a really big part of it, that each week you're accountable for doing what's needed to be done. And it's done step by step so that by the end you are ready to rock and roll with your business. And it's a proven system of business practices. These have made me successful and made me earn the money that I've earned from home. And like I said, many times with very little risk of capital. And there'll be workbooks and support materials. All the videos all the sessions are taped. There will be workshops that you will be able to come to and be a part of without. In some of my workshops, I charge for it, but all my mastermind people can come free of charge. The cost is $9.97 for a 3-month period, or breaking it down in 3 payments. However, for anyone on the call, I will let you have that. And it says here today only, but I will let you be a part of that April 2nd mastermind for $7.97 one-time payment, or broken down in 3 payments of $270, however it works for you. Or however we can work on other arrangements for you, if it's something you really want to do. So I would just need you to contact me via either Facebook message or by email, and just let me know that you're interested, and we can talk about how to get it done for you. So if you're really serious about that business and you feel like you just don't want to do it on your own, this is a good way to do it, because you will definitely earn your money back. Because you're not within that 3-month period, you will be making money with your business. And that's adequate time to get a business going and get it to where you're making that first set of dollars, and then going from there and continuing your success. Many of us start businesses and we're all over the place. We don't really know. And the one thing that I want you to take away, that starting a business doesn't mean that once you start it, it's stagnant. It's ever growing. It's always changing. You have to change to keep up with the changing environment around you. And knowing how to do that is going to be part of what we do. So if you want to do that, just email me. I will be sending you the business plan template. And I also have hourly, one-on-one sessions. If you want to talk about that, just working with me one-on-one, we can do that as well. But otherwise, I appreciate you being online and being as part of the conversation, and I hope that you learned something from it. As part of I always like to get testimonials, just so that people know whether or not I'm being effective, what I do. There's a bonus ebook on finding your passion that I will also send you if you send me an email that says what you think of the webinar, if it was helpful to you, if you learned anything. So any questions, any comments before we close?
Hey, this is Sharmi.
Mm-hmm.
I really got a lot of information out of it. It's kind of like I'm really at a much higher level. I'm thinking of retiring soon.
Mhm.
So I've got some ideas, but none of them fit in those categories
Uh-huh.
that you mentioned. So I don't even know if this, I don't know if this would help me,
Well,
tone it,
right. Well,
towards what
I
it is.
don't, yeah, I don't just
Yeah.
work within these three
Yeah.
categories. And my clients that I'm working with now none of them fit within there.
Yeah.
One of them is doing a product that she is designing, a unique product that she is getting to market, in manufacturing and getting to market. But business principles work in no matter what you're marketing.
Exactly. Yeah. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Mhm.
So, right. I've just sort of just got ideas in my head. So I haven't even really, formulated anything. I know what it is that I have passion. I pretty much, I'm a talker. So, and
Which,
I have a very strong faith base. So I want to do something with all of the gifts and talents that God gave me, and I want to put them in a form and I like in a t-shirt form, and that and tell what I feel is how I feel about God and how to glorify him. So that's kind of what I want to do, but I don't know, if this is.
Would you like to set up a one-on-one and we can talk about it?
Yeah, maybe, because I don't know how, yeah, right.
Yeah, and
that would be good.
Yeah, I do those free sessions, so I can do that for you.
Yeah.
I'll email you,
good.
and we can
Okay,
work at a
awesome.
time. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay,
Yeah, that's free of
you.
charge, because I always want people to be somewhere where they feel like they can be helped.
Right.
And it doesn't do you any good to spend money on something that's not going to help you. So we'll determine that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And you have my email, right, Sharon?
Yes, I do. I'll send you an email.
Okay.
And we'll
Thank
talk
you
about
so
it.
much.
Okay.
I appreciate this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Any other comments before we close? Okay, I really appreciate your time, and look for the business plan template. And Charmy, I will contact you with my schedule, and we can put something on there. And I really appreciate your time.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. And I think pretty soon I'll be 3 hours difference. I'm 2 now, but when there's daylight savings time, just to let you know.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, I don't.
We're good.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
my
right.
sister lives in North Carolina, so I'm really used to that time change.
Oh, good. Okay, wonderful.
All
yeah,
right.
my sister lives there in Arizona, so I'll be used to it too. So I got it.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Thank
thanks
you,
so much
Cheryl.
for your
I
time, and
appreciate
you
your
guys
time.
have a great rest of the evening.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.